96th District of Toastmasters is a study in contrasts. It reaches from the urban vitality of Canada's third largest city to the untamed splendor of the Yukon Territory. It extends from the saltwater spray of the Sunshine Coast to the fjords, mountains, and glacier-carved valleys of British Columbia's southwest. From the dynamic neighborhoods and business centers of Metro Vancouver to the crossroad communities of Caribou and northern BC. Historic hubs for trade, rich in resources. And the north to the Yukon Territory, where long-lasting summer sunlight makes the true north strong and free, shine iridescent. This is District 96, rich in beauty, complexity, and tradition. Awash in stories, shaped by public speakers and leaders who know the weight of words in each of these communities, and on the traditional territories of the Indigenous nations who are their foundation. Communication thrives wherever Toastmasters gather. Join us as we celebrate the clubs of District 96. Division B. Since I joined Division B, you know what I've found to be extraordinary to me. Division B is bold and bright, home to one of the oldest clubs in Vancouver and some of the newest clubs that have formed in the midst of a once-in-a-century event, redefining what it means to be a Toastmaster to many. Division B has been a wealth of knowledge and enthusiasm, brave members, and clubs stepping forward, building up for the betterment of the members in our district, broadening our experience, and helping our members bloom into stronger communicators and better leaders. It has been my honor to serve as a division director this year for Division B. Division D. Division H. Division J.
Hi, I'm Sherry Ernst, Division J Director for this year. What makes Division J extraordinary? Well, we are the largest division in the district with 24 clubs and almost 900 member payments. We only lost one club this year, actually in 2020, and we gained two. We have the Ritchie Brothers Auctioneers and BC Housing that just started up. But that's not really what makes us extraordinary. It's our team. It's our team that came together and has been working together the whole year. Yuri, Vincent, Earl, Rosalia, and Tanya, we have been supporting the clubs and each other and the district in so many ways with the Sunday workshops, conference, lots and lots of speech contests, mentoring new clubs, club officer training. The list goes on and on that we've been supporting, servicing, sharing our talents and our time. And really what I appreciate is the companionship that's helped us through this year. This has been a great team. And that's what really makes us extraordinary.
Division M. Division N. Division S. Ladies and gentlemen, the clubs of Toastmasters, District 96.
Hello, good evening. I am so excited. I am brimming with excitement and exuberance. Welcome one and all to the District 96 2001 conference
and opening ceremony.
I am Nicole Hollis. I am a DTM. I am a proud member of Speak Your Mind Toastmasters. But right now, I am zooming to you live from the lovely darkness of Burlington, Ontario. Woo!
And I'm Debbie Pang. I'm also a Toastmaster belonging to the club Prince Rupert Toastmaster Club on the beautiful Northwest Coast. And I'm zooming to you from the unceded territory of the Lenape Prince George.
Ooh. Well, I'm zooming to you from the unceded territory of I believe it's the Mississauga. Great. We are going to get right down to business. Tonight, we have a wonderful program set up for you. We are going to start with the Canadian and American national anthems, sung by our very own Toastmaster from District 96, Veronica Armstrong. Veronica started singing. She had when she was before the age of 4. She had her first solo act on stage at the age of 4. She says she sang a Chinese song, but she cannot remember what it is today. She's appeared in a number of shows in South Africa and in BC, and she currently sings with the Richmond Singers. Please welcome Veronica Armstrong.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave in the land of the free and the home of the brave? Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Toastmaster International was founded in US in 1924 in a YMCA in Santa Ana in California. And the first international chapter was established in Vancouver in Canada not long after in 1932. Today, this nonprofit educational organization has clubs worldwide, over 145 countries, and continues to promote communication, public speaking, and leadership. Throughout history, Toastmaster has served over 4 million people. But we continue to celebrate and honor our original origin by singing both the O Canada and Star Spangled Banner. This is the Toastmaster International tradition, and it's a fun fact as audience you can take back to your club. Hey, Nicole, what's happening on social media?
Well, Debbie, I've been cruising the Facebook page. I know that doesn't sound so great, but I've been cruising the Facebook page. Not that many people commenting on Facebook. There's a few on YouTube, but I'm going to be monitoring Facebook. I know somebody else is monitoring YouTube. I want people to migrate over to Facebook and say hello to me. I'm going to be keeping track of their comments all night, and hopefully I get some nice ones from some of my friends. Right now, I just want to give a quick shout out to Devin Downey. Love your girl. Janice Parkinson, my good friend Janice. Yuri's sharing popcorn apparently. And the one and only Warren Braithwaite, our incoming club growth director. Back to you, Debbie.
Thank you. Nicole and I know you're here to listen to good speakers, and we have none other than our very best to start us off with a bang. Carole Murphy is our district director of Toastmaster International, District 96. She's an outstanding Toastmaster, having joined since July of 1995. That's 25 years, 9 months, and still counting for those of you that's doing the math. Grandmother of 6 beautiful granddaughters, avid golfer, she still found time. She was a charter member of the events club in Coquitlam called Top Story Events and has served the district as area and division governor, as well as area and division director. More recently, in 2019 to 2020, she served as program quality director. And in 2020-2021, she served as district director for District 96. My apologies. Serving over 124 clubs across BC and Yukon. Please put your hands together as we welcome Carole.
Good evening, District 96 and guests. Together towards tomorrow. Our conference theme portrays the never surrender attitude of our District 96 membership. We have faced many challenges, but through those challenges, we found opportunities. Opportunity to enhance our online presence, learning to adapt to the virtual world, and learning how to best present ourselves, learning how to increase our video presence, our audio presence. I used to think that you couldn't teach an old dog new tricks, but I have learned so many new tricks this year. And I wouldn't have done that had I not been a Toastmaster during this pandemic. Eleanor Roosevelt said, "You must do the things you think you can't do." And that's certainly what I did this year. I am so proud of our club executives and our district leaders, our club executives who keep finding new ways to be creative with their online meetings. One of my clubs, we are low membership, and when no one signs up for a speech, we usually end up having a debate, and it's a spur-of-the-moment debate, and we have a great time. So kudos to all our club executives for making online meetings fun. Our area division and district leaders have also created some great online club officer training as well as our contests. And finally, another conference online. I'm equally proud in the 7 years of District 96's existence, we are currently electing our area directors through the area council. And I'm happy to report that we already have, at this time, we already have more than half of our area directors elected for the term of 2021-2022. Yes, please clap. This is great news. I would like to congratulate the incoming trio, District Director-Elect Distinguished Toastmaster Mimi Vanderheide, Program Quality Director-Elect Distinguished Toastmaster Lily Laverton, and Club Growth Director-Elect Distinguished Toastmaster Warren Braithwaite. I know they're already hitting the ground running, and I know we're in for a fabulous year next year. And I get to have a front row seat as the immediate past district director. I want to thank District 96 for giving me the opportunity to serve as your district director. I'm not sure if I'll get an opportunity to speak tomorrow on day one of our conference, so I wanted to take the opportunity right now to recognize some achievements. Some of our clubs are celebrating fabulous anniversaries in the month of May, and I'd like to single them out right now. Where is my sheet? May 1st, Vancouver Toastmasters Club, 85 years. 85 years. If there's anyone from Vancouver Toastmasters Club in the audience, please shout out and
give yourselves a pat on the back and watch the main newsletter that went out yesterday, I believe, because you are highlighted in that newsletter. Salsa Speakers, May 1st, 35 years. Congratulations to Salsa Speakers. Speakers of the House, May 1st, 35 years. Again, congratulations, Speakers of the House. And Parakeets Toastmasters, May 23rd, 10 years, as well as university staff on May 9th, 10 years. So look for those in our newsletter. It went out yesterday, so make sure you open up the email you received from our public relations manager, Janice. I want to thank the conference team led by our program quality director, distinguished Toastmaster Mimi Vanderheide, Adrian Wong, our conference chair, and all the volunteers. They have put in so many hours in preparation for our conference. I don't know about you, but I'm excited to get started. How about you? Are we excited to get this conference started? Let's continue to work together towards tomorrow. As district director, I declare this conference open. Back to you, Chair.
Thank you, Carole. You are an inspiration. Definitely, I'm so proud to be a member of District 96. Congratulations to all those clubs with their anniversaries. Send me your Zoom links and I'll visit you from across the country. Up next, we have a very important person. Any one of you who have ever attended a business meeting knows how important this lady is. She is our district parliamentarian, Joanne Morrison. And as a lawyer, don't hate me because I'm a lawyer, but as a lawyer, I understand the power of Joanne Morrison. She is active in both District 96 and District 21, especially with the advanced clubs. Please put your hands together for Joanne Morrison, who is going to do two things. I should tell you what she's about to do. She's going to toast to our Queen, Queen Elizabeth, and she's also going to share some inspirational comments. Please welcome Joanne Morrison.
MCs Nicole and Debbie, Madam District Director Carole, it's my pleasure to deliver an inspiration. I want to ask you a question. During this year with COVID, who's been the person in your Toastmaster Club that has inspired you? Who was the person that made you want to up your Toastmaster game? What did your Toastmaster hero do? Were they always ready for their role? Did they find creative ways to carry out their roles? Or maybe they mentored other members or supported the change to online meetings. I remember as a new Toastmaster, I looked up to longtime Toastmasters who committed their time to help me. And even now as a 30+ year Toastmaster, I remember when I was new. And I didn't even know I was nervous while speaking until I wasn't anymore. There were Toastmasters who committed their time to supporting me. You know, our conferences are in effect the countdown to our new Toastmaster year, which starts on July 1st. At a conference, I also reflect on those two Toastmasters who I looked up to, and I ask myself, am I that supportive person for other Toastmasters? Conferences are also a time for reflection, a place to recharge our Toastmaster batteries. We recharge from insightful training. We recharge from listening to committed contest speakers. and from knowing that at the next Toastmaster conference we attend, we'll have the bonus of reconnecting with our new Toastmaster friends and heroes that we've met from all over our district and other places too. Heroes I've met are heroes of creativity and support. They inspire me to up my Toastmaster game. I invite you to attend every conference event that you are able to attend. There is a lot to learn and to grow from during a conference. Later, your remembering of ideas from our conference, and you will share them with your Toastmasters at your club. I wish that your experiences at our Toastmasters helped you to become more of the person in Toastmasters that you are meant to be, a person that Toastmasters in your Toastmaster club can look up to, a person who is a hero even when we're fulfilling the smallest meeting positions in your club. Right here at our conference is a good place to start and up your Toastmaster game. I hope you can take the inspiration from our Toastmasters conference this year. And now I would like to lead a toast, which is a tradition in Canada, to the Queen. A toast to the Queen is simple. It's made with water always. And all you say is, to the Queen. Madam MCs.
Hi, I'm Geoff Peters, and I'm a proud software developer, Toastmaster, and musician in Vancouver, BC, Canada. I'm a member of Vancouver Toastmasters Club 59 and Best Run Toastmasters at SAP. I've chosen the song There Will Never Be Another You because I believe that we can work together towards tomorrow by supporting and appreciating each other. And I believe this song is all about appreciating one another so we can improve. So here's my performance of There Will Never Be Another You. There will be many other nights like this, and I'll be standing here with someone new. There will be other songs to sing, another fall, another spring. But there will never be another you. There will be other lips that I may kiss, but they won't thrill me like yours used to do. Yes, I may dream a million dreams, but how can they come true if there will never ever be another you? There will be many other nights like this, and I'll be standing here with someone new. There will be other songs to sing, another fall, another spring, but there will never be another you. There will be other speeches I will give, and table topics that I surely will do. Yes, I may dream a million dreams, but how can they come true if there will Thanks a lot, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.
Hi, welcome back. Geoff is a technophile for audio, sound, and processing, mixing and mastering, and live recording. You can really appreciate and hear his passion for folk and jazz piano in that piece. Just beautiful. Hey, Nicole, anything happening along the social media side?
Well, I can tell you, Debbie, my friend, that someone has said, hey, to you. That's Aiden Murphy Morvan. You got a fan, you got a fan. I want to give a big shout out to Jim Heron, who has given a big shout out to all the key speakers. And Yuri is sending a hug to Sharuk. I think we all can share a hug with Sharuk. He's a very lovable and huggable guy. And Veronica got a lot of great comments about her singing. Sharuk, I believe, said that there's nothing she can't do, that her talent is endless. And Lindsay McIntosh said, great singing for Veronica. So I'm expecting some more comments now that Geoff has just played. What's coming up next, Deb? If I can call you Deb.
Call me Deb. Call me Dee.
Right.
Our next speaker has two things in common with Geoff, actually. They're both software engineers, and they're both based out of the metropolitan town, Vancouver. Cameron Johnston is a psycho-adventurer turned self-published writer turned mental health advocate. In the time of traveling locally within our beautiful nation, listen to Cameron's story as it carries you through the trails of British Columbia, to the big blue skies of the prairies, the rich cultures of Ontario and Quebec, and to the proud Atlantic coastlines. Learn how the journey has transformed him from the inside out, and even made him more of a patriotic Canadian. The floor is yours, Cameron Johnston.
How much of your home country have you actually experienced? A few cities? A couple different regions? In my case, that country is Canada, which, as we all know, has a lot to see. My 24-year-old self had only really experienced one of 10 provinces, and I'd spent nearly my entire life at that point here on the West Coast. I had been focused on starting my career as a software engineer for a couple of years at the time, and started thinking to myself, wow, I'm living the same 9-to-5 lifestyle that I'll probably have for most of my life. I was at a stage in life where I had the freedom to adventure, even for a few months. No partner, no mortgage, no kids tying me down. I'd also started choosing cycling as the best way to get from A to B. It was great exercise. There's no stress over traffic or parking. And most importantly, for a guy wrestling with student loans, it was FREE. So I started wondering, what if B was a bit further away? Instead of my usual 10 kilometers, maybe about 7,000 kilometers? That's how far Google Maps said it was from Vancouver to St. John's, Newfoundland. I wanted to understand how massive the Great Lakes are. I wanted to understand how much better poutine is in Quebec and why everyone says Maritimers are so friendly. I wanted to understand what it meant to be Canadian. What better way to find out than to tour the country on two wheels? Okay, so I had my doubts, of course. Is this really the right time? What if I'm ruining future career prospects? I plan to go alone, so what if I got lonely or I couldn't handle it. What if I just could not do it? When I told my family and friends about my crazy plan, I was worried they would echo and validate all my doubts back to me. But they were overwhelmingly supportive. Some on the older end of the scale had a common reaction. I wish I did something like that when I was younger. Once I heard that from enough people, I knew my time to adventure was now. So at that point, I hadn't actually cycled for more than a day before. And there I was, planning to cross the second largest country. The internet claimed it can be done in as little as 13 days. I decided to take a slightly more leisurely 4 months, so I could see more scenic parts rather than just the highway. After some shopping to get myself properly equipped for this adventure, on day 1, I dipped my back tire into the Pacific Ocean and began my journey. At the same time, I launched my own blog, mainly to let my family and friends know I was in fact still alive, but also to share my experiences as I discovered what it meant to be Canadian. It didn't take me long to start figuring that out. Day 4, I was cycling down a trail to avoid the highway. I turned a corner, and there waiting for me was a black bear. Great Canadian animal, right? He stared at me, and I stared at him. The only sound was my heart pounding from both the riding and the shock. I slowly grabbed my bear bell from my handlebars and jingled it. Ding, 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 ding. As if to say, hey man, do you mind? I'm trying to find myself here or whatever, and you're kind of in the way. Thanks. Once the bear ran off, luckily, I started pedaling again, but some of my doubts came rushing back in. What if he hadn't run off? What if I'm all alone on my bike and I actually get attacked by a bear? I was in the middle of considering my options when I ran into my next obstacle. Now, keep in mind, this was early May, heading into the interior of BC. So what did I find? The trail ahead of me was fully snowed over. I wondered, was this a sign? Should I get off this trail and lose half a day cycling back to the highway? Should I just give up now and go home? But I didn't. I kept moving forward and spent the next day and a half pushing my fully loaded bike through that snow. On the other end of the trail, where it finally met pavement again, I was tired, demoralized, and running out of food when I found the first human I'd seen in about 2 days. A construction worker waiting for me on the side of the road beside his truck. I don't usually see people coming out of this trail in the snow with their bikes, so thought I'd better check to see that you're all right. This kind stranger gave me directions to the highway and part of his lunch before setting off again. He probably didn't know it at the time, but he gave me a much needed boost, both physically and emotionally. That construction worker set the tone for what was to come across the country. In Alberta, a man on horseback gave me $20 because he insisted that I might run out, despite my best protests. Further on, a couple offered me a bed for the night after chatting on the side of the road and seeing storm clouds rolling in. In Saskatchewan, a young father and son stopped to hear my story and then returned later with freshly baked buns to give me. On day 77, I was in Ontario. I spent some time with 4 other cyclists who were on their own cross-country journeys. They were doing it much faster than me, and it was nice to share our experiences. One thing I learned from them, that I was carrying so much extra weight. I had bought a book with a detailed itinerary on Cycling Canada. Only by their schedule, I would have been done 2 weeks ago. One of the cyclists helped me go through my gear piece by piece. We pared down to the essentials and things that were actually meaningful to keep me going. Yeah, that book, it didn't make the cut. And apparently, it's not as many pairs of underwear as I thought I needed either. So my lighter self flew home day 36. I dipped my front tire into the Atlantic Ocean after arriving in St. John's, Newfoundland. My journey was complete. Despite all my doubts and fears at the beginning, I had made it. I learned that Lake Superior is so big, it would take me 7 days of riding to cross it. I felt the richness in the French-Canadian cheese curds of 4 types of poutine in Montreal. I found in the Maritimes, the standard greeting is not a subtle head nod, but a hi, how are you? With the warmest of smiles. I really felt like I had experienced Canada and what it meant to be Canadian. So I turned around and headed home. Oh, that was by plane, not by bike. Back at home, I reflected on my trip, what I had experienced and how it changed me. Everywhere I turned, there was kindness and a helping hand on the road. On my blog as well, I was finding the same kindness. What started as a way to keep my friends and family informed that I was still alive, it somehow reached people I'd never met. And they were reaching out to me with messages of inspiration and best wishes for my trip. From this sprung a new idea, a new adventure to set out on. I wanted to give something back to the Canadian community and try to share my story with even more people. I decided to turn my blog into a book and sell it as a fundraiser for the Canadian Mental Health Association, a cause I've been passionate about for a few years before that. Of course, I had doubts about this too. Was my writing good enough to sell? Was my drawing good enough to do the cover? Was my story really that worth reading? Well, just like when others helped me in my travels, I found the same thing on this adventure. I got help from friends with editing and the cover art. And not only did my family and friends buy it, but so did some people who I'd never even met. So, reflecting on all of this, I realized 2 things consistently happen in almost every connection that I made. First off, one person chose to reach out and make the connection, either by offering help or by asking for it. And second, both sides actually benefited in some way. The construction worker, he chose to wait there for me, to connect with me and help by even offering his lunch. He then got to hear an interesting story on what otherwise might have been just another Monday. But he walked away with something new to share with his family over dinner that night. My fellow cross-Canada cyclist, who went through every single thing I was carrying with me, he chose to spend his evening to help me out. And the following year, when he visited Vancouver, I was the familiar face who was, of course, thrilled to show him around the city. Yes, by bicycle. To the readers of my blog, I chose to provide that shared space with my weekly updates. But in turn, I received the encouragement and the motivation through their kind words, as well as a change in routine, which was actually sitting down and writing my blog rather than just cycling all day. The friends who asked for help with the cover art and editing for the book, they also got to be part of a pretty cool project giving back to our broader community. And the cover artist was actually a fellow adventurer I met during the trip, so she was really excited to be part of it. So ever since, I've kept an eye out for opportunities to make these connections, because we all have chances to reach out, either to offer help or to ask for it. For me, it all started with a crazy idea to embrace life on two wheels. For you, maybe the context is different. But I know you will have similar opportunities. So what will your next adventure be? And who in your life will you be reaching out to next? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Taylor Waters, and you're listening to my song, I Hope You're Lonely. Wanna be in love, but my heart's too fast and I can't keep up. Wanna be in love, where the passion burns, but it can't burn out. Love. We used to have that love, so close to something so perfect. How could you let go? Where did the love go? I hope you're lonely. Hope she's not holding you closely. Hope that you're hurting without me. Don't doubt me. Yeah, I hope you're lonely. Hope she's not holding you closely. Hope that you're hurting without me. Don't doubt me. I wanna be in love. Wanna feel secure. Where he loves so deep, don't gotta ask for more. Wanna be enough. Gonna fight for what you have me so deprived of. Love. We used to have that love. So I hope you're lonely. Hope she's not holding you closely. Hope that you're hurting without me. Don't doubt me. Yeah, I hope you're lonely. Hope she's not holding you closely. Hope that you're hurting without me. Don't doubt me. And I hope you look back, see your mistakes on full playback. Hope that you'll grow up and face that. I hope you know after all of that, I wanna be in love,
That was Taylor Waters. Beautiful voice. She's a singer-songwriter from Vancouver, BC, currently residing where she is from, her hometown in Quesnel, really just kitty corner to Prince George. Taylor has been making music since she's 12 and received a ukulele as a Christmas gift. Her indie pop music was inspired by soul and R&B. If you're loving the song as much as I do, Taylor will be releasing a new single. You can stay updated and follow her on Instagram at Taylor Waters Music. Oh, wait a second. What is happening right now, Nicole? What are you wearing?
I am so excited. I am wearing my Canada gear. Debbie, did you know I am a huge Olympics fan? I have watched the Olympics, oh my gosh, since I maybe was a wee this big. And our next speaker is a true Olympian. We have Nancy Tinari with us. Nancy is a cross-country runner. I wish I could run from here to the end of the street. Nancy began running at the age of 16. She's been a member of the Canadian track and cross-country teams from 1978 to 1988. And she went to the Olympics in Seoul in 1988. Congratulations, Nancy. She's also passionate about English literature and writing. She's not just a one-trick pony. She's also a freelance editor who specializes in nonfiction and academic journals. Tonight, Nancy is going to talk to us about how she focused on running and some of the highs and the lows in the year before the 1988 Olympics. She wants to tell us that the achievement of an admirable goal is not what makes someone a hero. Instead, the important thing is to share your passion, your expertise, and the lessons learned along the way. Please join me in welcoming Nancy Tinari. The Olympics, not my finish line. The Olympics, not my finish line. Nancy Tinari.
It was a beautiful spring day in April 1984 when my first Olympic dream was shattered. It was 3 weeks before the Canadian Marathon Olympic trials, and 1984 was a special year for women because this was the first time women would be allowed to run the marathon event in the Olympics. All I had to do was come in the top 3 in the Canadian Marathon trials, and I'd be on my way to Los Angeles. On that beautiful April day, I just completed a really good, extra long, fast training run. Felt great, but about an hour later, as I stepped out of the shower, I couldn't ignore any longer the pain in my right knee. And as I moved my leg around experimentally, I could tell my knee was getting more and more stiff and swollen. Even worse than the physical pain, though, was the crushing disappointment because I knew that knee couldn't possibly get better in 3 weeks. Mr. Chairman, my Masters of Ceremonies, fellow Toastmasters, and all of you out there watching, I did have to miss the 1984 Olympics, but I had a tomorrow. My tomorrow would come at the 1988 Olympics in Seoul, South Korea. Our theme tonight is Together Towards Tomorrow. And as Toastmasters, we have a tomorrow too, a time when COVID-19 will no longer restrict us and we'll be able to meet in person again. The together part of our theme is so important as well. I could never have hung in there until 1988 without the help of my team, my coach, my training partners, the medical people who helped me. And similarly, we're keeping our Toastmasters clubs alive so we can encourage each other and continue to develop our leadership and speaking skills. If you could see me in person tonight, you'd see that I'm barely 5 feet tall, and you'd wonder, how could she ever make it to the Olympics? I was given a gift, and it happened because of 4 things. Luck was the second thing. I started with talent, but that talent was only recognized because I met the right coach who could recognize the talent in a non-athlete and knew how to nurture it. The third thing was my own hard work and training. And the fourth factor was the support of my team. Now notice that only one of those things had anything to do with my own effort. You might not have thought about it this way before, but making an Olympic team is actually a really selfish journey. It required a laser-like focus on myself and my training. And what I discovered after the Olympics was, and I hope you realize it too by the end of my speech, that it's not the finish line when you reach your own personal goals. What's important is what you can give back to others from your experience. But for a while, I'd like to entertain you with some stories about how I got there. I was always a bookworm, total non-athlete, failure in gym class. But one day, when I was in grade 11, my gym teacher said, "Okay, kids, today you're going to do the 12-minute run on the track." And I ran more laps than any of the other girls in the class. So my teacher said, "Nancy, you should join the school cross-country running team." So I took that first step. Just like all of us Toastmasters once took that first step to joining a Toastmasters club, even though we were probably afraid or intimidated. And I hated running. It was painful. It made me feel sick to my stomach. I got side stitches and my legs were so tired. But what I did like was that for the first time, I was part of an athletic team. And our school team was so fun because we had hundreds of people running cross country and we won every meet we went in. I had only been running for 2 months when our coach put me on the 6-girl team to compete at the Ontario Championships. And even at that level, we won. We were the best girls team in the province. So now I was hooked on running. That was the fall of 1975. And you can see that even just to bring you back to 1984, when my right knee betrayed me, I'm compressing a lot of years and stories. It was truly a roller coaster journey. And at first, it was mostly the high points. After 2 years of high school running, I made my first Canadian team and I got to run the World Cross Country Championships in Scotland. Later the same year, I ran in the Commonwealth Games in Edmonton. One of the greatest, proudest moments of my whole running career, though, happened when I was on another Canadian cross-country team, this time in 1983 in Gateshead, England. And we finished 3rd team in the world. There were some really low times during those early years too. I was pretty lucky in high school, but after high school, I had a couple of really bad injuries. First of all was Achilles tendonitis. I got over that one fairly quickly, but that injury just kept coming back to haunt me over my career. Even more serious, in my first year of university, my left knee became very inflamed and painful, and I had to miss most of my first 2 years of university competition. So that's how, when my right knee went in 1984, I knew that this could be a really bad outcome. And in fact, I became really depressed, not only because I was missing the Olympics, but because I couldn't run at all. And this depression led to psychosomatic illness, intestinal illness that made me feel so sick, I had to quit my biology lab job. But very gradually, both my knee and my stomach got better. And those years weren't all bad because I met my future husband, Paul. By 1986, I was able to compete internationally again, and I went to Scotland for the Commonwealth Games, and when I came back, got married. The next year, 1987, Paul was doing his PhD in Brussels, and we had a fantastic old forest to train in there with hundreds of kilometers of trails. Paul was a really good marathoner himself, And he led me through a lot of my workouts, and I became fitter than I'd ever been in my life before. In the summer of 1987, I went back to Canada, and I went to a lot of big American road races. The race organizers were eager to have me, and they paid my travel expenses because my times were so good. And I won most of those races and won a pile of prize money. And then I went with the Canadian track and field team back to Rome to run the 10,000 meters there. But the highlight of 1987 was a trip to the glamorous city of Monte Carlo, where they have the Formula One car race, Grand Prix. And even better, we went in November when it was beautifully sunny there. The event was the Women's 15K Road Race Championship. On the day of the race, I was looking around the starting line at my competition. There was one person who was head and shoulders above everyone else, and that was the great Norwegian distance runner, Ingrid Christensen. She held all the world records in women's distance running. Sure enough, as soon as the gun went off, Christensen bolted from the line. I concentrated in staying with the chase pack as the gap between us and Christensen grew steadily bigger. By the end of the first of 3 5K loops, I had broken away from everyone in the chase pack except a small Italian runner, Maria Curatola. We ran side by side, stride for stride, for most of that race. These races are not exciting to watch. They're just a grueling test where two things matter: your ability to tolerate pain and your ability to pace yourself perfectly so you can make it to the finish line. I was finally able to pull away from Curatola with a little less than 2K to go, but my fuel tanks in my legs were very low, and I was desperately trying to hang on to my second place. But when I saw the finish line clock, I saw that I was going to set a Canadian record for the distance, and I sprinted as hard as I could over that finish line and then let myself collapse. A few minutes later, I was feeling great. Christensen had demolished the world record, and she, me, and Maria Curatola were shaking hands with Prince Albert as he put medals around our necks. Now I had 10 months to prepare for an Olympic final. Little did I know that another injury crisis was just around the corner, and it happened for the stupidest reason. I tried a new brand of running shoes, and after only 1 or 2 runs in those shoes, both of my heels were killing me. They were really badly inflamed, and I couldn't run at all for a couple of months. I had to do whatever other kinds of exercises I could do to try and stay in shape. Finally, I was able to get back to running again, but only about 50 or 60 kilometers a week. And that's not much for an endurance runner. I knew that I had to focus on my most important workouts, which were my track workouts, because if I didn't maintain my speed, I just couldn't be competitive at the world level. But for the 10,000 meters, I had to have endurance too. My competitors, I knew what they were doing. They were running 100, 200 or more kilometers a week at a relatively enjoyable pace. But what did I do? I sat on a stationary bike in a gym and pedaled for hours, the sweat just pouring down my face and out every pore. It was excruciatingly boring, but I had to do it. I compare this kind of training to what we're going through now in Toastmasters during the pandemic. We didn't join Toastmasters to become Zoom pros. Just like I didn't feel any of the joy of running while I was sitting on that bike. But sometimes if you want to achieve your goals, you have to be resilient. You have to do whatever it takes. And this is what we're doing to keep practicing our speaking skills and keep our Toastmasters clubs alive. My last 2 months of training before the Olympics were the hardest because Toronto was going through a record heat wave that year, and it just made running miserable. I remember early every Saturday morning, I would crawl out of bed very early before the sun came up, because it was time for my most important workout, 6 times 1 mile on the track. And we had to get it done before the heat and humidity became unbearable. So I'd go with my husband and 2 or 3 male training partners, and they suffered through those workouts with me every Saturday. And I arrived in Seoul confident that I was ready. First, I had to run a semi-final. And there, wow, was I glad that I had done all those track workouts. Imagine this, pack of 20 runners in a 25-lap race, and with 3/4 of a lap to go, almost everyone is still together in the same pack. I had to sprint my guts out. Only 8 would make the final, and I finished in 7th place. On to the final. But I woke up 4 days later, day of my final. I could hardly talk. I had to run sick. But my legs were well rested, well trained, and I was able to finish in a personal best time, 13th place. So my Olympic story didn't have a dramatic ending, but I was satisfied I had done my best. And later, I realized that it really wasn't my finish line, just making that Olympic team. I had been given this gift of running talent, and I had to give back. I've given back in small ways to the running community, volunteering at races, doing a little coaching, leading my running club. But the main way I wanted to give back was by sharing some powerful messages through public speaking and through writing for magazines and in my personal running blog. So I've given lots of presentations at elementary schools, and I continue to write articles. Some of the messages I hinted at in my talk tonight. Those messages that you can start from very humble beginnings, like being a total non-athlete like me, and you can make tremendous progress by working hard. Your coaches and your team help you do that. And also, you can't achieve your goals unless you have resilience and you never give up. But more than anything, I like to share my joy of running. When I became a runner, I discovered a whole new dimension of myself that the bookworm hadn't ever known. And I learned that when you become physically fit, you can accept your body and enjoy it, no matter what its size or shape. I also learned that physical mastery leads to mental self-confidence. A long time ago, I was part of my high school girls' 4x400 meter relay team. And I remember what a thrill it was. I was the third runner, passing that baton to our final runner. And I knew she was talented enough that she could sprint that last lap and cross the finish line in first place. We have so much fun and we get so much strength from being part of a team. So I challenge everyone here who's achieved excellence, whatever your field, to share your passion and your expertise with your friends, your communities, maybe a much wider audience. Let's all remember that achieving our own goals is not the finish line. We move together towards tomorrow by passing that baton, by sharing our gifts and helping others achieve their goals. That's what strong teams are all about.
Hey, District 96, Lowry Olafson here on Gospel Rock, and it's an honor to be part of your conference this year, and I love your theme, Together Towards Tomorrow. I thought this song might be a fit for you. We'll see, and if you like it, you can sing along. The view from Gospel Rock is at its best. You can see clear across the bay, where the mist
go again, out on the road again. Whatever's around the bend, we never know. And when the winds that blow are calling your name, here we go again. You know I love the open road, it stretches out before us like the sky. Every twist and turn is just another reason why. And here we go again, out on the road again. Whatever's around the bend, we never know. And when the winds that blow are calling your name, here we go again. There's such a world out there to see, and I couldn't ask for better company. And here we go, hey, out on the road. Whatever's around the bend, we never know. And when the wind is calling your name, here we go again. Wanna sing with me? And here we go again, out on the road again. Whatever's around the bend, we never know. And when the winds that blow calling your name, here we go again. Yes, darling, here we go again.
Here we go. Have a great conference, everybody.
Wow. All I can say is wow. Between Cameron, Taylor, Nancy, and definitely last, but oh gosh, not least, Lowry. I am loving these opening ceremonies. There's just too much for me to say and not enough time. Lowry was actually singing from a lovely spot near Gibsons, BC. I'm putting Gibsons on my next trip to BC. I'm going to come and visit everybody that I can see out there. Oh, yes, I see you. And Nancy was so inspiring. Oh, to actually get up sick on the day of your final, but go out there and give it your best. That is what I want. I want to feel that power when I get up in the morning. There's no way I'm going to start riding a bike like Cameron did. But maybe I'll just take it out of the garage and just run it around the block a few times. What do you think, Debbie?
I'm gonna dust off mine first, maybe grease a little bit, or part of spring cleaning. I'm not really sure. Nicole, is there anything happening on social media?
There is almost too much for me to keep up with. There were a lot of shout outs to Cameron. There was, let me see here, a lot of shout outs to Nancy. Lydia Burchell, who is a past district director, yay, Lydia, said Nancy was very inspiring and she felt her passion. Brenda Benham, loved Brenda, said it was great to hear Nancy's amazing story. Brenda says she's never been a runner, but she walks at least 10,000 steps every day and she loves running. Great. And of course, Nancy responded. That's wonderful. And of course, I cannot forget this. Going back to Cameron, how he was talking to that bear, and he said to the bear, "You're kind of in my way. I'm trying to find myself." And you came along. And I thought it was just so funny, but so Canadian. Because who else would go up to a bear and say, "Yo, dude, you're in my way"? Oh my gosh, you got laughter in the background. All right. Debbie,
yeah, don't forget, we have more speakers coming up. Our next speaker is truly special. Margaret Page brings with her vast experience in business, having founded many companies from construction to agriculture to beauty, real estate to now consulting. One thing is certain, she is a seriously successful serial entrepreneur. You would have recognized Margaret as the ambassador for Toastmaster, as chair, speaker, or organizer at Toastmaster conferences or contests and events. Currently, as a professional speaker, author, coach, Margaret Page is speaking to us from Vancouver, BC, where she is based, with an additional hat that she has picked up recently as the Toastmasters International President-Elect. Please join us to welcome Margaret Page. Everyone.
Good evening, district leaders, District 96 members, and beyond. One night in ancient times, there were these travelers traveling in the desert. When they came upon a dry riverbed, they heard this voice coming out of the sky, and the voice said, "Halt!" And they obeyed. The voice then said to them, "Dismount, pick up stones, put them in your pocket, and remount." They obeyed the voice, and then the voice said, "When you get to the end of your journey, you will be happy and you will be sad." The travelers continued on their way, on their journey, and when they got to the end of their journey, one of them recalled the night they were at the riverbed and said, "Do you recall that voice? Let's check our pockets." They checked their pockets, and a miracle had happened. Where the stones once were now diamonds and rubies and precious gems. They were happy, but they were also sad that they had not picked up more stones from the riverbed. In 2012, members of Toastmasters in British Columbia had this gleam in their eye of how the district could become two. Later that year, I chaired the meeting where the decision was made on how we would twin the district. I felt like I had a lot of stones in my pocket. You see, other districts in the region didn't have the burden of reforming the district. Other districts around the world, there was only one other that had to spend the additional time reforming. And so I thought our team had this heavy burden of stones that were weighing us down in our pockets. Today, I get to travel all over the world, sharing our collective story of success, of how we traveled together to make a difference, and how we uncovered the difference between being on a team and working as a team. So what I thought were stones have now turned out to be a golden nugget. And my message to you this evening is this: when you see those stones, don't be afraid to pick them up along your way. Because if you do, you will find that you have gems as you travel together towards tomorrow.
Ironically, I'll never get enough to be able to see. What is it about cotton candy clouds? Goes beyond them miles and miles now. Sweet they are, soft to touch, drifting me like a feather wing. Do they really exist as such? Oh, behind imperfect sights, hear this. Cotton candy clouds, my beauty beast. Oh, leave a heart. To find this beauty beast, a taste of last and never leaves now. How to find and never lose this pirate soul left wandering behind moonless nights and city lights. How can it all be a dream? Just a dream of a pirate soul like me.
Wasn't that amazing? I love a good banjo. Please put your hands together for John and his wife, Gvña Dueling. I apologize to Gvña if I have said your name wrong, but wonderful, wonderful music. And Margaret Page. Who cannot love Margaret Page? I am so proud that she is a fellow Canadian and she's the international president-elect for Toastmasters International.
Woo.
Oh,
Canada represent.
Exactly. Exactly.
Nicole, doesn't her voice just, it sent me into a trance. The way she uses metaphor and story, it's something that I'm going to think about long after this conference. I'm still looking for my nuggets of gold.
I know. She attended my District 96 Club Speak Your Mind Toastmasters the beginning of this month, and she put on this wonderful workshop. And her messages are still resonating with me. But I guess, Deb, you want to know what's going on with social media, don't you?
Please tell me what's happening.
Well, I have to say a big thank you going to all of our musical interludes from Sherry Ernst. She says she's loving the musical interludes. And Earthaware Toastmasters! Hello, Earthaware! I'll keep checking online, see what else people are saying. Mimi's doing a great job in getting people interested, keeping people active.
Interact with this.
Yeah, and your friend, the North Vancouver Toastmasters says they love the banjo and enthusiastic musicians. And your friend Aiden, a lot of comments from your friends, Deb.
He's a good dude, good friend.
Good, good. I'd like to meet him one of these days. All right.
Yep. What's up next?
What's up next? Yeah, let me know.
Mm-hmm. So, listen. Stand up, show up, stand out. Building your personal brand through communication. These are the words from Kwong Yuyan as he helps people from different cultures, countries, and industry to boost their personal brand and communication style. Whether it's dealing with nerves or nailing that important presentation, effective communication is essential to our career development and personal growth. Kwong has counseled individuals who has gone to work at impressive places, Facebook, LinkedIn, Google, Fox Studio, on and on. As an Australian-born Chinese, Kwong's approachable nature and friendliness has a lot of bounce. His 5 seconds of YouTube fame came to him with a humorous speech on fortune cookies, which made the audience both laugh and cry. Kwong currently conducts online and in-person workshops that are engaging and fun. Topics include facilitating online meetings, boosting your video presence and communication style, communicating with confidence, and powerful storytelling. Put your hands together as we welcome Kwong Yuyan. Wow, that certainly does not disappoint. Again, full of heart, full of energy, and full of humor. Something I was told once, if we laugh and tease you, it's because we like you. Or is that what they tell me only?
No, Debbie, they tell me the same thing.
Okay, it must be true then.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kwong. That was wonderful. And actually, your question got me thinking. Nicole and I haven't talked about this before, but Nicole, how did you join Toastmaster?
Actually, I was living in Halifax. A friend from Victoria came out to visit. I was his impromptu tour guide to the great city. And he said to me, "Have you ever heard about Toastmasters?" And I said, "No." He says, "You should look it up." I looked it up, and look at me now. How about you, Deb?
Nicole, but first, tell the group, how many clubs are you involved with?
4. Three in District 86, and 1 great club in District 96.
Incredible. I got started with Toastmaster because I was inspired by my friend Sam Nee. She's a brilliant engineer that I befriended while I was in Prince Rupert. And so shout out to Sam if she's watching right now. But through the club, I really got to meet other Toastmasters of different backgrounds, of age and interests. What unites us is our passion for communication.
Yes.
The support that Kwong mentioned rings true, and the encouragement really built up my confidence. Without Toastmaster, it's unlikely that I'll befriend this group of good people. So cue the tears.
Yeah.
I'm forever grateful.
Hey, just look at the people that are online today that I consider friends. Not just everybody from you to Debbie. Wait, you are Debbie. Sorry, it's late. It's almost midnight my time. But from you to Mimi to Adrian. Oh my gosh, I'm going to call Kwong a friend now.
Can we please?
Please. I would definitely want to be friends with Kwong. But people going back, I used to be the district administration manager, and Lydia Birchall asked me to be district administration manager. And I had just moved to Ontario. So here I was in Ontario, district manager for District 96. But I have to say a big thank out to Lydia for believing in me, because I didn't think I could do it. But I really enjoyed it. And my heart goes out to everyone who's going to be a district director, like our dear Mimi, because I know how busy you're going to be, but I know you're going to do a great job. And okay, all right. But before we get to Mimi, there's somebody else we need to acknowledge. Deb, do you know who this guy is?
Who?
I don't know, some guy named Adrian Wong.
A conference like this requires tremendous amount of organization, and the opening ceremony is just the beginning of the conference. Let's hand it over to our conference chair, who will tell us what's being planned for tomorrow and ongoing. So Adrian Wong, the floor is yours.
This has been a fantastic opening to the conference, and I hope that you enjoyed the conference as much as I am right now. All the speakers, everything has been fantastic. Now, tomorrow, next Saturday, and the Saturday following after that, we have 3 educations for each of the Saturdays, and we have our table topics contest tomorrow, and our evaluation contest next week, as well as our international speech contest on May 15th. Now, beyond that, we also have our mentoring symposium tomorrow night and our town hall and awards next Saturday. And we will end it all off with a karaoke party on May 15th. And I know Nicole really, really wants to organize this and do a great job, because we all want to hear our district trio sing Raining Men, right?
Yes.
Thank you, Nicole. Now, I could not have done this alone. No way, right? So I would like to thank my team, because this last 4 months has been grueling. Lots of work, lots of planning, and again, lots of love. Because without love, there's no way that this would have happened. And I want to thank everyone who has contributed all of their time, effort, energy, and tears, because I cried last night thinking, oh my God, it's tomorrow night. Now, you might wonder how I became conference chair. So 6 months ago, Mimi met me and she's, hey, Adrian, do you want to be conference chair? You just met me. Do you really want me to be conference chair? And somehow she saw something in me, and I don't know what that is. But maybe if I became the conference chair, I would know what that something is, right? Now, Mimi has coached me throughout this journey, and thank you so much, Mimi. Now, let's welcome our current program quality director and incoming district director, distinguished Toastmaster Mimi Vanderheide.
Appreciation, gratitude, and all I can do is say thank you, Adrian. How many of you, throw it in the chat line, all your takeaways from this opening ceremonies. And most of all, I want you to remember, we're all just normal, ordinary people. But you put us in a team and look what happens. Can you imagine meeting week by week with people like Adrian, Nicole, Darren Frew, David Smith, Michael Gurney? It was an amazing hour that I got to spend every single week. And Adrian, I know you think you didn't grow this year, but I've got Janice and I've got Don Miller, who know how much you've changed and how much of a leader you are. Thank you so much for the team. You should see this, what's going on behind the scenes. You would be absolutely amazed. I am so thankful to the team. You are amazing. Back to you, Madam Masters of Ceremonies.
Nicole, do you feel a bit sad?
It's
I can't believe the night is ending.
I know. It's like the little guy in Just for Laughs goes, he goes, Mommy, it's over.
But the night is still young. There's still lights out, really. We can go on for a little while, maybe. No, we are Toastmasters. We keep to a time and schedule.
Exactly. I will say good night until I see you in the morning, because it's already midnight where I am. But I'm going to be up bright and early for the Ed sessions tomorrow.
And I know some of the audience members will be participating in the upcoming contest. So be out there, Toastmaster, to support your fellow Toastmasters and club. Cheer them on. Be the encouraging voice. Be the encouragement and support.
Definitely. Okay.
Nicole, anything to add?
I just want to thank you, Deb. It's been wonderful working with you over the last couple of hours. And thank you to Adrian and the entire Opening Ceremonies team. And I'm looking forward to the next 3 Saturdays.
Mm-hmm.
How about you, Deb?
Likewise, I know there are lots of presentations coming up in the next 3 Saturdays. I've marked my calendar twice with red circle, so you should do the same.
Purple's
See
my
you
color.
out there.
Okay. Good night, everybody.
Yes. Good night, everyone. Thank you for having us, and thank you for this journey. See you Saturday.